The Unseen Path ****. I never imagined my life would take such a dramatic turn. My sister, whom I once trusted with all my secrets, not only stole my husband, but also orchestrated my expulsion from our parents' house. The betrayal stung deeply, but what followed next changed my life in ways I never expected. It all started on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I was returning home from work, excited to share the news of my promotion with my family. As I walked through the door, I was met with an eerie silence. My heart pounded in my chest as I made my way to the living room, where I found my parents sitting on the couch, looking distressed. My sister Jenna stood nearby, her face a mix of guilt and defiance. Before I could speak, my mother broke the silence. "Lena, we need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. I glanced at Jenna, who avoided my gaze, and then back at my parents. "What's going on?" My father cleared his throat. "We just found out about Jenna and David." My world shattered in an instant. David, my husband of 5 years, had been having an affair with my sister. The room seemed to spin as I tried to process their words. Jenna stepped forward, her eyes finally meeting mine. "Lena, I'm sorry. It just happened." "It just happened?" I echoed, my voice barely above a whisper. "How could you do this to me?" My mother stood up, her eyes filled with tears. "Lena, we are so sorry. But Jenna is pregnant, and David, he's chosen to be with her. We think it's best if you find another place to stay for now." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Not only had I lost my husband to my sister, but my parents were also siding with them. Betrayal cut deep into my soul, and I felt an overwhelming urge to escape, with tears streaming down my face. I packed a suitcase and left the only home I had ever known. I wandered the streets for hours, feeling lost and abandoned. Eventually, I found myself at a small park where I sat on a bench, trying to make sense of everything. As the sun began to set, a woman approached and sat beside me. She introduced herself as Maria and offered a sympathetic smile. "You look like you could use a friend," she said gently. Something about Maria's kindness broke through my walls, and I poured out my heart to her. She listened patiently, never interrupting, and when I finished, she took my hand. "Lena, I know it feels like the end of the world right now, but this could be the beginning of something new for you." Maria introduced me to a support group she attended, filled with people who had faced similar betrayals. Over the next few months, I found solace in their stories and strength in their resilience. I started to rebuild my life, piece by piece. I found a small apartment, started a new job, and began to rediscover who I was without David and my family's influence. In my new job, I found a mentor named Sheila, who saw potential in me that I had never recognized in myself. She encouraged me to take night classes to further my education, and with her support, I enrolled in a local community college. Balancing work and school was challenging, but it gave me a sense of purpose and direction. One day, while attending a local art exhibit for a class project, I met a man named Alex. He was kind, thoughtful, and genuinely interested in getting to know me. We started talking, and I found myself opening up to him in ways I hadn't with anyone else since the betrayal. Alex was a painter, and his passion for art was contagious. We spent hours discussing our favorite artists and the meanings behind different works. Our relationship blossomed slowly. Alex respected my past and never pushed me to share more than I was comfortable with. He had his own story of heartache and loss, and we bonded over our shared experiences. For the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful about the future. As the years passed, I learned to forgive Jenna and my parents. Their betrayal had opened my eyes to the toxic dynamics I had been blind to for so long. It wasn't easy, but letting go of the past allowed me to fully embrace the new life I had built for myself.
One evening, while having dinner with Alex, he took my hand and looked into my eyes. "Lena, I've never felt this way before. You've brought so much light into my life. Will you marry me?" Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded, unable to speak. We got married in a small, intimate ceremony, surrounded by new friends and a few family members who had supported me through everything. I realized how far I had come. After the wedding, Alex and I moved into a cozy house near a lake, where he set up his art studio, and I had a space to work on my writing, something I had always loved but never pursued. Inspired by my journey, I began writing a memoir, hoping to help others who had faced similar betrayals. One day, as I was writing in our garden, I received a letter from Jenna. She apologized for everything and expressed how much she regretted her actions. She had realized that her relationship with David was built on a foundation of lies and deceit. They had broken up, and she was trying to rebuild her life, just as I had. Reading her letter, I felt a mix of emotions. Part of me wanted to hold on to the anger, but another part understood the power of forgiveness. I wrote back to her, offering my forgiveness and hoping she could find peace. Over time, Jenna and I slowly rebuilt our relationship. It wasn't the same as before, but it was honest and based on a mutual understanding of our past mistakes. My parents, too, sought to make amends, and we worked through our issues in family therapy. The path I was forced to take was unexpected and painful, but it led me to a place of strength and self-discovery. In losing my old life, I found a new one filled with love, resilience, and hope, and for that, I was eternally grateful. My story, once marked by betrayal, had transformed into one of forgiveness and new beginnings. As I stood by the lake, watching the sunset with Alex, I knew that my journey was far from over. Life would continue to throw challenges my way, but I was no longer afraid. I had found my inner strength and learned that sometimes the most beautiful paths are the ones we never plan to take. After her sister's betrayal and the loss of her husband, Lena's world crumbles. Forced out of her parents' home, she embarks on a journey of self-discovery and resilience. With the help of new friends and unexpected kindness, Lena rebuilds her life, finds love, and learns the power of forgiveness. Rising from the ashes is a heartfelt story of overcoming adversity, finding strength in the face of betrayal, and discovering hope in the most unexpected places.